All right, moving on. And Australia's canine obsession is reaching new heights with the Channel 7 show Pooch Perfect and the Dogs of Oz campaign in News Corp papers right around the country. But not all pooches can be perfect, and many are abandoned and eventually put down.
A lot of those are found to be deaf, and one organisation called Hear No Evil is dedicated to finding new homes for hearing impaired dogs. The organisation was started 6 years ago in Townsville and has adopted out more than 200 dogs all over the country. I'm delighted to say we're joined this morning by Hear No Evil volunteer Joanne Heyman, her husband Andrew and their dog Willow. Joanne is hearing impaired and hubby Andrew is signing for her. So good morning to you all. Joanne, it's not just Willow who's hearing impaired, as we just mentioned, and hubby Andrew doing the interpretation. When did you adopt her, and what is your relationship like with Willow?
Well, yes, I am deaf as well, so both of us are deaf, which is normal for us, really. We adopted Willow in 2015 when she was 15 weeks old, and so she's 5 years old now. She wasn't really that hard to train, really, wasn't she? So, yeah.
It's a special relationship, but it's the same with anyone, with people and dogs. Same.
Do you find that in terms of training her, does this mean that dogs learn mostly from our physical cues rather than, you know, what we might be saying or needing to hear from them?
Yeah, well, I mean, training a deaf dog, basically, you've just got to remember that they are just dogs, and all you really have to do is change just how you communicate with them. So a lot of dogs, both hearing and deaf, will look at your body language first and the voice later. So with a deaf dog, it's actually quite easy to train because they are solely focused on you, and they're not being distracted by the other dogs, barking and other noises and that as well. So, and deaf dogs are actually quite clever because there is not that much distraction. They pick up things much quicker.
Yeah, sure. Joanne, before Hear No Evil came along, what would normally have happened to deaf dogs that were abandoned or dumped at a rescue shelter?
Yes, so unfortunately these beautiful creatures were mistreated, and of course it was just misunderstanding what deaf dogs were all about. A lot of people, when they actually hear the word deaf, they kind of backpedal. So a lot of our dogs that come through the rescue have been mistreated or surrendered because primarily of the fact that they are deaf, and they are still even recommended for euthanasia. So because they are deaf, they're actually seen as being undesirable. But as you can see, that deaf dogs, there's actually nothing really different with them. You just have to communicate with them differently.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, so we take them in and get them ready for adoption out to beautiful families that understand about dogs with special needs.
Extraordinary. I'm just thinking, and in fact, the opposite. I think that deaf dogs are even more special and beautiful to have. I'm thinking of one dog in particular called Nugget. He's passed on now, but he was a beautiful Labrador that some friends of ours had, and there was just something really special about him because he had to pick up on cues elsewhere. He was just so intuitive and beautiful. So what people can gain from having a hearing impaired dog is just beautiful. And look at Willow, so gorgeous, so comfortable with you. Joanne, Andrew and Willow, so lovely to have you on. Thank you very much. We'll put all of the details on our website for Hear No Evil. Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you, Joanne, and thank you, Andrew. Terrific stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ahead this morning on Weekend Sunrise.